keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene. You are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Dear viewers everywhere, we are going to continue our theme, which is our schools, are they improving? But before we do that, we will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us knowledge and to benefit us from this knowledge. Allahumma rzuqna ilman wanfa'na bima 'allamtana. In the previous episodes, we talked about some of the features or some of the things that would make us be able to judge that this is a good school. We talked about the vision and the mission of the school. We talked about the students as center of the attention of the school, center of focus, the focal point of the school. And today we are going to continue this discussion. Last episodes we were talking specifically about what are the criteria that would help us judge this classroom or that classroom is an excellent one, is an outstanding one, is a good one. There should be something that should be common among us. And these criteria that we're talking about, they were not there in the past. There are many reasons for that. This is not our issue right now, but we will focus on these qualities or these features of these classes. One feature we mentioned is that the interactivity between the teacher and the students and the other students. And this interactivity should have a higher level. It should have some challenges. It shouldn't be ending with closed questions, because closed questions do not help students to think critically. There's something that's missing in most classrooms. The last episode, one of the sisters raised the issue of the use of audio visuals, or the use of technology, or the use of ICT. This is really very important, and we should know the background why it is important. Islam teaches us, first of all, we find many ayat in the Quran. One of them is إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل ذلك أو كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. The verse says that the listening and the seeing and the heart or the brain are very important, and they will be responsible for what they are doing. So here there is a subtle understanding from this verse that listening is very important. That's why we raise this question. If a person is deaf, will he be held accountable in front of Allah? Yes or no? Challenging question for you to wake up. Yes?
Same thing. He won't be accountable for listening.
He would be accountable.
He won't be accountable for listening, for seeing and things that come in his mind, action. He will be accountable for that.
But something which is very important, particularly if you teach a foreign language. If you teach a foreign language, most of the teachers don't use audio aids or audio and recorded material, which we call authentic material. Every one of us has his own or her own accent, definitely. And the students, when they move from the class to real life and they start listening to the native speakers, it becomes very difficult for them, right? Why? Because they have not got used to listen to the native speakers of the language. And that's why a teacher who teaches languages should all the time use some recorded material or something, some clips, video clips, so the students would be able to listen to authentic people, to native speakers of the language. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is something very important to use, listening. And in addition to this is, of course, seeing a picture. And as you know that the Chinese proverb says, one picture is stronger than 1,000 words. Yes, one picture is stronger than 1,000 words. I can show you later, inshallah, one picture that would explain thousands of words to you. Yeah, so seeing something is very important. And the combination of listening and seeing is stronger than either seeing or listening by itself. So using the combination of seeing pictures while there's something said, so is very important. And again, another level you add to this is what? The animated picture is stronger than a still picture. So when you get something animated, right? Yes, it attracts people. When you give a child a picture, and when you give a child a real thing, a living thing, a cat or anything, you'll find that child wants to, or a toy, wants to interact with the toy because it's moving, right? So this is the concept behind it. A thing that's moving is more effective, the body language, right? So that's why we are moving our hands, we are moving our eyes, we are smiling. We are using all possible means to be animated. We are becoming animated instead of becoming still pictures like this, right? Okay. And then another element is you add to this, the interactivity. The interactive. When you do something by yourself, becomes stronger in learning than just listening or seeing. When you interact, when you do, when you choose. And that's why when you deal with the internet and you have the options to select this or to select this or to highlight this or not to highlight this, or branching ways that you see, all these makes you learn better than if you just listen or if you just see. Do you understand the rationale behind this? So that's why the use of interactive material, the use of the internet, the use of video clips, that you have the options to select this or to skip this, is very vital in learning. So it's not just rich schools that has money, but you should know how to use this money. And believe me, one video or a data show, a tool in your classroom, and you know how to use it well, and if your classroom is connected to the internet, you can get wonderful results. This may sound a little bit strange or expensive, which really it is, but the outcome of it is really amazing when you see the students using this. Again, the use of audio-visual materials that we are talking about, or the use of technology. We're not talking again about the teachers. This is an example now. And I am not using the technology, but he is using the technology, right? So we don't care about the teacher as much as we care about the students. We want the students themselves to use this, right? A school with limited resources, for example, we need to develop the students to do things even in the library. While we are talking now, I can ask one of the two students to go to the library to make some research about a point that we raised, right? And we need to get the result if we don't have this in the class. If we have it in the class, so two students would be working on it, we are continuing our discussions. After 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, they will stop us and say, hey, we got the answer. Here is the answer. Here's what research says, and so on and so forth. Okay, now, when the students do this, not only they are interacting with the material, with the texts, they are doing something else. They are developing their research skills. Remember yesterday when we talked about knowledge, concept, and skills? This is one of the most important skills that we need in our life now. You cannot live properly in this life, on this planet, if you don't know how to make research, how to get the answer from Mr. or Sheikh Google in the internet. We call him Sheikh Google, right? Yeah, he's doing a wonderful job for us, yeah. But sometimes he lies, or many of the time he lies, okay? Because he has different resources. So researching something in the internet is a skill that's needed in this life. We cannot graduate students who cannot make research. And it's not just the research, it's the how quick you can reach the answer. Some people can get an answer after 5 minutes, some people can get it in a minute, some people can get it in 2 hours and they don't know how to get it. So the more we develop this skill is very important. And nowadays it's not just even the internet, even with your iPhone you can do the same thing. So we need to develop, we need to teach our children. I'm not saying every child, yes, but at least in higher grades they can do this. So these are some of the things that we need to do in our class. So if you enter a classroom and you find the students, 2 students are making research on the internet. Another student is using some main references that are available, in the subject that we are studying. So she is checking something else. and the rest of students are doing other things. How do you see this class? Good class? Outstanding class? Okay, do we do this in our lessons really? I will get the answer when we take a break and come back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Hush, little baby, breathing so calm.
Scientific notions in the glorious Quran are among its endless aspects that can testify for the divine nature of this noble book. These scientific notions are probably the best addressed to the people of our time. I am Zaghlul al-Najjar. Please join me in this program to discuss some aspects of the scientific notions in the glorious Quran.
سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق.
He created the universe to him.
Appreciate the word-to-word authenticity of scientific notions and proven facts mentioned in the glorious Quran 1400 years ago in Scientific Notions in the Glorious Quran. Every Saturday at 11 p.m. and repeat telecast at 12 p.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV.
Muhammad, peace be
Pearls of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet, may peace be upon him, said, truthfulness leads to albir, that is, piety, righteousness, and every act of obedience to Allah, and albir leads to paradise, and a man keeps on telling the truth until he becomes a Siddiq, that is, a truthful person. Falsehood leads to al-fujur, that is, wickedness, evil doing, etc. And al-fujur leads to the hellfire, and a man keeps on telling lies till he is written as a liar before Allah. Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 8, Book of Manners, Hadith number 6094.
Hush, little baby, breathing so calm.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. Before the break, we raised this question, is that we needed some reflections. We needed your opinions about the importance of use of audio visuals or technology in classrooms. Can I get some reflections from you? Oh, yesterday we talked about we need to interfere and to, yes, make comments and, yeah. What do you see? I cannot imagine, for example, a classroom, any classroom, without the map of the world. I cannot imagine this at all. Any classroom in the world should have a huge map for the world and another map for the country that the person lives in. Two essential things that should be available in every classroom. I don't know how many of your classrooms have these. Yeah, these are basic audio visuals to be available in any classroom, in addition to many others, depending on the level that the students at. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
We are having nowadays the smart boards which have come in, and these are very, very useful.
Definitely, yes.
We have already pre-programmed lesson plans in that. In addition to that, even the new research, all those things which we display it through the smart boards.
That's good. Wonderful.
These are being used in our schools.
Yes, this is a very advanced material that you use in the classroom. Yes, okay. Tell me, can you give me some examples of the impact of using this on the students? Have you ever seen two classrooms? One classroom is using smart board and the other classroom is not. Can you tell me some of the differences? What do you expect to see? Anyone, not necessarily.
The students who have the smart board, who are using the smart boards, they're able to see small science objects, the science experiments in an animated form.
In animated form. The key word here is animated form, something that's moving. Okay. If something moves here right now, everybody will be attracted to it, right? If a dog or a cat is moving here, everybody will look at it, right? Because it's moving, right? Okay, good. So animated, the animation.
The right visuals, the color combinations.
The use of color code is very important. Using different colors, and each color would identify something or specify something that's different from the other. It's again something very important, the use of colors. Yeah, okay. What else?
They are also able to make their own presentation, PowerPoint presentation.
Yes,
they
very
make
good.
And bring and
It becomes, it's a very important tool for them to use it for presentation. We are preparing them, as we mentioned, according to our vision and mission. We want to prepare them to lead, so they would be able to affect others. And one way of affecting the audience is the use of technology, is making a good presentation. Okay, wonderful. Yes?
When you use the audiovisual aid or the smart board, the retention is more. The child retains more whatever you teach, as well as like you are able to hold the attention for quite a long time.
This is very good. Yes. You see that every one of us knows the sign of McDonald's or Coca-Cola, right? Why? Because we've seen it millions of times. So this is exactly one of the ways that we do in learning. When you see this, when you see the map and you use the map, when you see the map on the wall, every day you enter the class, it would help you to remember the places of different towns and different countries, right? But if you use it every day and the teacher would challenge you with that, where is this country, where is this town, where is this capital, it will remain more and more and more. So here is the rationale behind this. It is the use of this thing. So how about if it is animated? Of course, it remains more and more. Yes, wonderful, good. What else? Yes, yes, please. Again, I remind you of the technique that I want you to comment on each other. Don't expect me to comment on each. I want you to comment. I said, no, I have a negative experience. This didn't work. Yeah, we need this discussion. Yeah, okay.
It saves a lot of time of the teachers.
It
saves time.
It does. One rationale of using the technology, right, is what it saves a lot of time. And instead of trying to explain the thing, and you can describe it, no matter how many words or how eloquent you are in describing the picture, you cannot describe it as if people see it, right? When you for example, try to describe the impact of tsunami, you spend 5 minutes trying to find the most expressive words, but 1 or 2 pictures will give the message stronger than your words, right? So it's much better. And the good teacher here is not the one who uses this. It's the one who would ask you, one assignment for you tomorrow. I know that you're not coming tomorrow. Yes. But let's assume that you're coming tomorrow. Is that to bring me 2 pictures, 2 colored pictures from any magazine that would explain what happened in tsunami. So I wouldn't do the job. You are going to do the job. Tomorrow, we're going to get 30, right, pictures. I would ask you to bring pictures about tsunami, right? And then when you bring them tomorrow, I will ask 2 or 3 of you to put them in a sequence that would explain to us exactly what happened from the first step until then. Definitely it will not be very accurate because there will be some gaps, but at least it will give it. Try to imagine that if the students saw these 30 pictures, they would learn a lot about tsunami, right? If we can bring a video clip and we can show the students this video clip, it will be more effective than the use of pictures. Is this right? So in every lesson that you need to develop this, and the teacher again should plan, should not do the work himself or herself, should not go home and try to search for the pictures, should ask the students to do this, okay? And the students would not feel that this is a very tough work because they are interacting with the internet, right? So they can bring some video clips with them. Okay, what else? What other comments do you have? Wow. So we said that it saves time. It has more impact on the memory of the person so he can recall it. It helps, it stimulates a person to speak about it. Why? Because he sees lots of things. If he cannot speak about this, okay, he can speak about the other. Who can describe this photo to me? Someone would, right? Try to imagine this comparison with a classroom that the teacher has nothing. Who is going to explain to us what happened about tsunami? There's no material, no video clips, no pictures. Try to imagine the difference between the two classes. Would you see the difference? Definitely you would. So this is something it stimulates people to think and express themselves. And here is a golden opportunity to push the fluency of the students when they express themselves. Other things? Yes. Yes?
There are some negative points as well.
Of course, everything has negative.
Because these instruments are very expensive. In a country like India, not every school can afford. Yet we see students and teachers expressing properly.
Yeah, I agree to this. But again, there is a way when you, I don't know whether you are allowed to make fundraising here in your you are allowed, right? And when you give examples, comparison between this classroom and this classroom, and you can show the people the results of these students and the results of these students, you can get a lot of money from the parents, by the way, because they want to see their kids like this. And there's another thing that we may talk about it later when we talk about managing a school, is how to get the money. Yes, it requires money, but we should learn how to get the money. We should have some specialized people, or we use some organization to do the job. And I think Peace TV knows how to do that. So you're lucky to have Peace TV here, yes, that can collect money from. So learn from them, right? And I think you can get that. This is a very good comment. But money is not everything. And I'm quite sure that even in every family, they are willing to share. I have some computers that I don't use at home. I can give them to the school. So we can use some of this. We can get something from. And I still remember there were few Sudanese brothers in the USA. They used to see on the newspapers and in the internet that, you know, in America, public libraries, after every 4 months, they make a sale for the books that they have because they get new books. So they were following this, and they would go and they would get a sale for $1,000. For example, they can get 20,000 books. They put them in a container and they send them to Sudan. And this was the cheapest way to get some references for these schools in Sudan. You can do the same technology, I think. There are many ways that you can get audio visuals and references. Also very important, it's the use of references. Try to imagine that if we have, these two students would have Tafsir ibn Kathir, and these two students would have Tafsir al-Tabari, and these two students would have another Tafsir, and we are dealing with the verse in the Quran, surah in the Quran, and okay, give me what Ibn Kathir said. And so each one of them would be that. After a few days, and they use it every day, consistently. The word consistently here is very important. They don't just use it on and off. No, we want them to use it every day until they acquire the skill. So every day they do the research, they get the answer, and they give it to the teachers. Every day they do this, and then after some days, they exchange the reference with each other. So if you mastered how to use Ibn Kathir now, it's your time to use how At-Tabari said it, okay? And so on and so forth. This happens in classes. In classes. So the students would not be even subject to the opinion of the teacher. Say, no. Ibn Kathir said so, and you are saying so. So now they can challenge their teacher based on the knowledge they have. Okay, Ibn Kathir said so and so, Tabari said so and so. Now how can we combine this to get a better understanding of the verse? You see how it develops. This is what we are looking for. Try to imagine that if you do this with the students for 3 years, the end results you will have wonderful scholars. Wonderful scholars. And they are good at math, good at science, but at least they would know when somebody tries to deceive them or to give them false information about Islam, they would be able to stop him and would be able to defend Islam. Okay? So the use of technology is really very important. What else? We have few seconds left. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Salam.
Well, it's been observed that
having physical activities. For example, if a teacher is assigning tasks to various students, there's a lot of physical activity which is involved. And if you're physically present, physically active, it also keeps you mentally active.
Yes, yes, this is true.
Definitely, if it continues for a longer duration, it can help you throughout your life to be active and mentally active as well towards your work.
Definitely. The same thing, of course, applies to the science labs. We should have our science labs very well equipped with tools and material that would help students understand and see and observe what's happening and recording what is happening in front of them. I hope by now we would have clear idea that how we can judge. We will add other things in the coming episodes, but we will, yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you because the time is, we are closing now. So I hope you benefited from this, the use of technology in a very beneficial way, and it's not necessarily to use everything every time, but you can make a variation among them. And Jazakumullahu khairan. Inshallah, we'll meet in another episode very soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Little baby, pure and small, He created you, He created us all. Hush, little baby, don't you fear, we're never alone when Allah's so near. Hush, little baby, breathing so calm, He'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene, you are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby,